No matter how many years separate us from our college years, that first day of a new academic year reminds us of new beginnings and endless possibilities. A time to take the first steps on a path toward future accomplishments and realized dreams. To learn new ideas that expand our expectations of the possible. To charge forward with confidence. Homecoming and family weekend, especially this homecoming, is a time to gather as Rams and a few Aggies to reunite with friends. To diminish the distance and disconnection of this past year. To reignite pride in this special place. And tonight, to recognize and celebrate 17 distinguished alumni who represent the very best of the values we hold dear. Extraordinary and selfless achievement. Public service that heals our communities. Lifelong commitment to Ram pride. And career excellence in the first decade after graduation. Tonight, we raise a glass to our 2021 distinguished alumni and welcome you all home once again.
Good evening. My name is Christy Bolander, and I'm a two-time graduate of Colorado State University, and I have the honor of serving as the executive director of your Colorado State University Alumni Association. And this is one of my favorite events to watch come to life each year. It is so wonderful to look out at this amazing audience of alumni and friends of Colorado State. Thank you for being here this evening to help us honor our 2021 Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. Before we recognize tonight's honorees, though, I'd like to take a moment to thank you so much for your flexibility in our reception and when we moved it to the Sutherland Community Garden. Tom Sutherland, as many of you know, was known for his resilience during his 6 years in captivity, and he and his wife, Jean, for their relentless generosity. Both received Distinguished Alumni Awards. There's a sculpture right outside the theater called An Accumulation of Benevolence that captures those traits. And I am grateful that we were able to gather here in the spirit of their generosity, kindness, and optimism. I'd also really like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Laurie Student Center staff for their flexibility as we adjusted tonight's event format. And if you'll indulge me, I'd really like to give a thank you to our Alumni Association staff, particularly Lisa Hansen and Dakota Bogner. As you can probably imagine, it's been a crazy year in alumni relations, and this team is amazing. So thank you all so much for your hard work. I'd like to recognize several other special guests who are with us tonight. If you could please stand to be recognized, I would really appreciate it, or wave your hands. Past members of the CSU Alumni Association Board of Directors. Stand up, I know you're there. Past Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. And the members of the President's Cabinet and the deans of the colleges. A huge thank you goes out to the members of the Alumni Association whose continued support allows us to bring programs like this to you tonight. A special shout out to Ashley Stiles, our newest life member who's out there. Thank you, Ashley, for your support. Because of membership, we're allowed to keep Rams connected and do events like this tonight, so thank you again. I heard that the acoustics in this theater are pretty remarkable. So this next round of thank yous or introductions, I'm gonna ask for a little bit of audience participation if you're up for it. We're gonna recognize our sponsors. And if you are either a guest of one of these folks or colleges, or you graduated from this college, I'm expecting you to be kind of loud, okay? So we're gonna start with our gold level sponsors, the College of Natural Sciences. Jan, I knew you all wouldn't disappoint, so thank you for that. Now our green level sponsors. We're gonna start with the College of Liberal Arts. College of Health and Human Sciences. And the College of Veterinary and Biomedical Sciences. We appreciate your support of this great event. And now to our RAM sponsors. College of Agricultural Sciences. I knew these two were going to be loud up here. College of Business. Warner College of Natural Resources. Okay, we're gonna keep going, but that was not that good. Walter Scott Jr. College of Engineering. All right, I have high expectations here. Department of Athletics. Oh, Terry, there's one in every crowd, I know that. Enrollment, Academic and Student Affairs. The Vice President for Research. All right, and then we're all gonna give it up for our last sponsor, okay? UC Health. We greatly appreciate all of your commitment to this event. Thank you again for being here to celebrate this year's honorees. It truly is my favorite time of year, homecoming and family weekend. And there really is no better way to kick off this celebration of CSU pride and tradition than the Distinguished Alumni Awards. We really, really do have a group of special honorees here this year. Some of you I have known for years and years. Some of you, well, one of you I've known since the day I was born. And some of you I am meeting in person for the very first time tonight. The common bond between you all is the inspiration and purpose of your stories. And I cannot wait for everyone here tonight to have the opportunity to hear those stories and to learn of your amazing impact. The last time we gathered in person to honor our Distinguished Alumni Award winners, we were celebrating Colorado State University's 150th anniversary. It feels like a lifetime ago, honestly, that we were joking about learning how to pronounce sesquicentennial. That night, I told that group of alumni and friends in the ballroom how fortunate we were as a university and as an alumni community to have such talented, innovative, and compassionate alumni to carry us through the challenges to come and to lead us into the next 150 years on the right foot. At that time, those challenges seemed distant and hazy, kind of like our summer skies were in Colorado. You knew that there was a fire somewhere over the western horizon and that we had fundamental problems that we needed to confront, but we did not see the flames yet. The wildfires, both literal and metaphorical, were, of course, much closer than we thought. By the spring of 2020, it had become obvious that the challenges of our next century and a half were not going to wait for an invitation. In fact, they would derail all invitations to just about everything, including this event last October. Reflecting on the uncertainty of that time, and even the uncertainty of this time, I'm not only hopeful, I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful because of the way our university and our alumni family has united to take care of those in need. And I'm optimistic because of you, the distinguished alumni that we're honoring tonight. Skeptics may argue that optimism is just ignorance with a sunny disposition, and our world has certainly kindled reason for skepticism. But I see it differently. Optimism is foresight strengthened by fact, and the fact is, CSU is a roll up your sleeves and get to work kind of university. one of the outstanding alumni that we're recognizing tonight embody that ethos. Your practical generosity changes lives. Your can-do compassion amplifies the voices of those not heard and creates common ground. And your commitment to excellence and finding solutions in your professional and personal lives diminishes the haze created by problems lurking just over the horizon and helps ensure a brighter future for us all. So on behalf of the more than 244,000 Colorado State University alumni all over the world, may I be the very first to officially congratulate you on your awards, and thank you so much for the honor and optimism that you have brought to your alma mater. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our Vice President of University Advancement and fellow alumna, Dr. Kim Tobin.
Wow, lots has changed since the pandemic. You know, we've got, tonight I've got crutches, we've got masks, and I certainly didn't have these before the pandemic. So that's how long it's lasted. But isn't it heartwarming to be together tonight, just to see all the familiar faces and the warmth in the room? So congratulations to everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Christy for her outstanding leadership. You don't get a more stalwart ram. So I'd also like to thank the alumni team for your commitment to bringing back homecoming and family traditions to campus. Let me also extend my gratitude to the numerous collaborators who make a weekend of green and gold celebration like this possible, from the college development teams, our advancement engagement team, our partners in athletics, don't cheer again, Terry, student affairs, and here in the LSC, thank you to all of our partners. And on behalf of the entire CSU community, I offer deepest appreciation to all of you, our stalwart alumni who have stood with us throughout these past 19 months, trying new things, connecting different ways, but remaining loyal to Colorado State University throughout. Thank you. President McConnell was looking forward to being here this evening, but as with many moments during the pandemic, we've had to pivot. As you may have heard, Joyce contracted COVID recently. She's feeling fine. Saw her this afternoon via Zoom. She's doing great, but unfortunately is required to quarantine through the weekend, and that's just killing her not to be here for homecoming. So she wanted me to convey to you her enthusiastic congratulations to tonight's honorees and has encouraged us to charge forward just as Rams do. Tonight, as we recognize members of our alumni family for their incredible professional achievements and community impact, I would also like to take a moment to celebrate the resiliency and ingenuity that have been key in bringing us together once again, moving forward. These characteristics are a testament to the CSU spirit and have been on display throughout our community more than ever during the pandemic. We've seen it in our faculty and our students who adapted to new ways of teaching and learning while still accomplishing and exceeding their academic goals. We've seen it in our campus leadership and staff, especially in our deans, many of whom are here tonight, who faced each new challenge with resolve. Thank you for moving us forward. These collective efforts point to one thing, a steadfast commitment to what lies at the very heart of CSU's land-grant mission, education. It's a value embodied by the distinguished alumni we've honored throughout the past century, perhaps most notably by a two-time honoree who was unequaled in his legacy of generosity, vision, and kindness. Walter Scott Jr. is a name known by many of you, and we couldn't have been prouder that he was an Aggie, a Ram, one of us. With his passing in September, we find ourselves even more inspired to live his values as a dedicated husband and father, an accomplished professional, and committed philanthropist. Walter arrived on campus sight unseen, kind of like our president, 72 years ago, at the height of the baby boom, back when we were Colorado A&M, and he began his studies in civil engineering. Unbeknownst to him, Walter personified humility and the work ethic that defined Colorado State. In addition to being dedicated to his studies, he made time to get involved on campus, working for the Collegian, serving as a member of ROTC, and as a member of SIGEP, a fraternity whose members dot the distinguished history of these awards, from Kenny Montfort to Colonel Bill Woods to Rich Tinberg, wherever you are, raise your hand, one of tonight's honorees. After graduation, Walter served as a second lieutenant in the Air Force before beginning his notable career at Kiewit, rising to the role of CEO. Like all the rounds we celebrate tonight, Walter believed, to quote one of his Walterisms, "Be a giver, not a taker," and he truly did that at CSU. Over the last decade, Walter transformed his alma mater. He was incredibly generous, but arguably even more impactful was his unwavering belief in the potential of our students. Among his favorite activities was connecting with students whose education and success he so earnestly invested. One of my most vivid memories is of Walter sharing stories with the Scott Scholars while enjoying Sundays right down here in this very theater when we celebrated his transformative gift, naming the College of Engineering in 2017. Colorado State is enriched because of Walter Scott Jr. We will be forever grateful for the young man who chose to come to Fort Collins in 1949 and kept CSU in his heart throughout his lifetime.
I think over time, your passions change. Today, they're completely different than what they were when I was in school or growing up or even in my early life. I mean, it changes. They don't stay the same. I grew up during the Depression. Looking back at it, I had a lot of fun as a kid. I had good parents. I worked on ranches in the summer. My parents had a friend, and they had a son, and he went to Colorado A&M. So I said, I'm going to go to Colorado A&M. I'd never seen it. I just showed up on registration day.
When I arrived on the campus in 1949, it wasn't much more than the historic buildings around the Oval.
I'm so glad that I talked you into going to Colorado A&M. And then swayed you from being a rancher to studying engineering. You studied hard, Walt, but we also had a little fun. I remember you being the SIGEP song leader, but you were always studying, and I guess it paid off.
If you continually have goals and objectives in life, I think there's a lot of things you can accomplish. I think that's the biggest thing I got out of my engineering education. So I started with the Kiewit Company working in the summers. After I graduated, I went to work for the Kiewit Company.
He not only got to study in a great institution, but he had the added advantage of studying under a great teacher in Pete Kiewit, who he worked for. So he has seen what education, both on a one-on-one basis or institutional, can do for people.
I was always given an additional opportunity, mostly by Mr. Kiewit. I really like the idea of being able to help in various areas around my community.
Walter's philanthropy is legendary, even though he doesn't publicize it. I do know about a lot of things that he has done for other people, both in the case of institutions and individually.
Our biggest effort in the foundation is in the area of education. With a good education, you have the opportunity to contribute to society.
It is no exaggeration to say that Walter's commitment certainly earned the recognition that comes with the naming of this building, but in a very real way inspired us for what we would do here and for the things that will go on in this building.
In the case of investing in the students of CSU, I hope my investment helps develop the next generation of leaders, those who will do great things for our country.
It means a lot to know that somebody believes in me and is quite literally investing in my future.
It allowed me to come to a great university like CSU and pursue a degree in something that I'm really interested in.
There's someone that believes in me and who's invested in me and is expecting great things of me, and I just want to work that much harder to pay it forward.
And I am so excited to be able to start my engineering career and start working and to help people and better the world.
Success is, did you do something that allowed somebody to do something so they can be successful?
I'm just overwhelmingly and sincerely grateful to Walter for his generosity. It's just humbling and wonderful, and I'm excited to see the great things that this is going to enable us to do.
My job is done. Now it's up to you to make sure that my investment lets you do great things. Thank you.
Well, Walter, your job may be done, but we will continue to do great things because of you. With gratitude, tonight we honor Walter's abundant legacy in conjunction with the meaningful impact each of you has had on the world around us. Thank you, congratulations, and go Rams.
Jobs tonight, can you tell? Walter was truly a remarkable Ram and human being who made a tremendous impact on CSU. Thank you, Kim, for that beautiful tribute and for being with us tonight. Our MCs this evening are Michaela Fenton and Jonathan Cable, two outstanding students at CSU who are members of the Presidential Ambassadors, a group of exemplary students selected to represent the university to advance the public's understanding of CSU and the role students play in its growth and success. Michaela is a senior majoring in crop and soil sciences in the College of Agricultural Sciences. Jonathan is also a senior, majoring in landscape architecture in the College of Agricultural Sciences and minoring in construction management in the College of Health and Human Sciences. We are thrilled to have them here hosting our program, so please help me welcome Michaela and Jonathan to the stage.
Good evening, and thank you, Christy. I'm extremely excited to be a part of this event. The success of our honorees and the way they stay connected to CSU and give back is truly inspiring. I never dreamed I would have an opportunity like this to be surrounded by such a group of accomplished CSU alumni.
I agree, Michaela. I'm so proud to be a Ram and can't wait to be part of the alumni community when I graduate next spring. We are grateful to you all for choosing to spend some of your evening with us tonight as we pay tribute to our most accomplished alumni. It is our pleasure to represent CSU students here tonight. At this time, we will begin with tonight's first award. The Distinguished Athletics Award recognizes an individual for their commitment to the CSU Department of Athletics and the contributions, efforts, and achievements they've made toward the success of Rams athletics. Jim Dietrich is currently responsible for managing one of the largest advisory groups within Greystone Consulting, and his outstanding performance has been recognized with numerous awards throughout his career. While earning his undergraduate degree at CSU in the mid-1990s, Jim was a linebacker for the Rams. He went on to earn an MBA from the University of Denver, Daniels College of Business in 2001, but has remained an active member of the CSU community. He began supporting athletics in the university in 2003, and provided significant support for the on-campus stadium. As a loyal football fan, Jim has been a premium season ticket holder since Canvas Stadium's inaugural season in 2017. It is my pleasure to invite to the stage the 2021 Distinguished Athletics Award recipient, Jim Dietrich. Please join me in welcoming Jim.
Thank you. So Christy, keep it under 45 minutes. Do my best. Obviously, thank you. When they first told me about this award, I obviously was quite surprised, but one of the things I thought of is, how the heck did my journey come to this point? And obviously, when you think about your journey, a lot of things you think about is all the ups and downs and the different experiences, but really all the decisions you made along the way. And sometimes decisions that at the moment don't seem huge to the impact of your life turn out to be quite different. And really, my decision to come to Colorado State is one of those moments. When you're 18, you probably don't really realize what that will mean, but for me, it has been instrumental in my life to date. And so I'm very thankful to Colorado State for all that they gave me. Specifically to the Department of Athletics, you know, playing football in college, I should be up here and say I had all these wonderful professors and all these engaging experiences in the classroom, which I did. But obviously athletics was a big part of my life as well, because not only did it pay for me to get my college education, but it taught me so much. And very simply, what I would say is, you may or may not know, but a student athlete really has to schedule classes from 8 to 12. They go straight to study table. They go to taping sessions. They go to film sessions. They go to breakout. They go on the field for 2 or 3 hours. They go straight to dining table, and then finally study table at the end. So it's really this 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. life, which is effectively year-round. And I share that with you simply to say, when I think about what's happened in my career to date, the concept of discipline, of work ethic, and the ability to be a strategic thinker and move on your feet and understand situations as they unfold and be able to react to them. I learned a lot of that in athletics. And so when I have the opportunity to interview people or to hire, I will oftentimes ask them similar questions, and we'll talk about those types of things. So I'm very thankful to the Department of Athletics. I want to just say a few thank yous in the meantime. Joe Parker, who is the athletic director, has been a great friend, and I think is doing a great job with the Department of Athletics. He and his team are doing wonderful things, and I'm very thankful. Obviously not here today, but my coach was Sonny Lubick, and I just want to say thanks to Coach. And then on the personal front, just a few family members that are here. My mother, who literally since the day I was born was my biggest cheerleader and a huge part of my life. Thank you, Mom. My brother David, his wife Sonia, but especially my wife Andrea, who has been incredibly supportive in everything I do, and I am so thankful. So thank you, Andrea. I'll close with my final 30 seconds in this. When I thought about this award, you know, a lot of it to me is a lesson that my father taught me. And he was my mentor and one of my best friends. And we lost him earlier this year, unfortunately, to a courageous battle of stage 4 cancer for 6 years. And my father led his life in service. In everything he did, he served others. And that was just hugely impactful to me. And so in the last 20 years, I've had a lot of opportunities to sit on boards and be of service, and it's just been so rewarding to me. And I actually sit on the board of the CSU Foundation. So I wanted to just say thanks to Cherie and a surprise few of my board colleagues joined tonight. I want to thank them. And I have learned so much about what really makes CSU go in serving on the foundation. And so I give a thanks to not just the foundation, but to all of you that give, because that really is the lifeblood of Colorado State. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our next honorees are from the College of Agricultural Sciences, Christy and Jim Dochev Jr. Christy and Jim met at CSU in 1980 and built their lives on two shared passions, family and agriculture. They both come from fourth-generation agricultural families. After graduation, Jim worked as a research associate at the CSU Dairy Research Center before he and Christy bought 35 dairy cows of their own. Over the past 33 years, their farm has grown to 650 cows. 2 of 3 of their children work at their dairy farm, and one is a rancher in Yuma, Colorado. The couple serves on numerous boards, councils, committees, and within the industry and the university, including the CSU Beef Club. Their goal is to have a role in developing the next generation of great agriculturalists. We are proud to honor Christy and Jim tonight as the 2021 College of Agricultural Sciences Honor Alumni Award recipients.
Well, thank you. Never in our wildest dreams did we think of ever receiving this, and Christy has some pretty wild dreams, so. But all we've done, we've never done it to get an award for this. It's always been to give back. This university helped, we met up here, so I guess that's probably the biggest thing. I better say that. But it's helped us develop our dairy farm. To this day, I still use Department of Animal Sciences and the Veterinary Teaching Hospital when we run into problems. And it's for the next generation. That's what we do it for. I'm hopeful this place is still around for our grandkids to come here and for their grandkids to come here. This place just means a lot to us. I tell my grandkids a story. There was an Ayrshire bull that came to the U.S. back in 1932 from Ireland. And they started showing him at all the fairs. And back then, it wasn't like it is today where you have semi-trucks and this and that. They dragged this bull across the United States. And every show he went to, he was the grand champion. And he won grand champion, it was like 38 times over the course of 13 years. And a 13-year-old Ayrshire bull, this thing, the picture of him is impressive. I mean, he had the big horns, weighed about 2,500 pounds. And I tell my grandkids, be a grand champion like Swanky Dan. And if they can keep that, they're going to succeed. But it's for the youth. I'm so proud that 2 of my sons are back on the dairy. My grandfather came to this country in the early 1900s from Bulgaria and started milking cows, and we've milked cows in Colorado ever since then. So pretty proud of that, but I'm more proud that my sons are back helping me on the dairy. Thank you.
Next, the College of Business is honoring Rich Tenberg as their 2021 honor alumnus. Rich was recruited to CSU on a football scholarship in 1968. During his sophomore year, he joined the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity, where he became its president, as well as treasurer of the Interfraternity Council. In 1975, Rich earned a Master of Management with distinction from Northwestern University, and later that year became a certified public accountant. Rich is currently the president and CEO of the Bradford Hamaker Group. He and his wife Elaine are generous supporters of the College of Business, and Rich has contributed his business acumen to other companies by serving on their boards of directors. Please join me in welcoming Rich to the stage and congratulating him as this year's College of Business Honor Alumnus Award recipient.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's really an honor to be here tonight, to be with so many other distinguished alumni, and we're very grateful for this distinction that you've awarded me. I thought, Christy, you were going to say that we stand on the shoulders of giants, as you have before, and I think that is really true, although that wasn't true in my football career. I came as a running back the same year that Lawrence McCutcheon, a 5-time All-Pro running back, came. So there was no way that I could stand on his shoulders. But I think it's largely true that we do stand on the shoulders of others. I think those teachers, coaches, professors, loved ones, friends, mentors, have had a powerful impact on all of our lives. And really, it's those that I'm indebted to tonight that helped give me the education, whether it was formal or not, and helped me become successful in my career path. My wife Elaine and I are big believers in education. I think there's probably nothing more important in today's age with the opportunities and the challenges that we have for all of us to better understand and create solutions that are innovative and creative. And that is why education, I think, is playing a more important role than perhaps it ever has. With the opportunities and issues that exist, we need that. And Elaine and I are very grateful to the university for hiring Beth Walker as Dean of the Business School. She has a wonderful vision. She is absolutely committed to education and the well-being of the students. And we think that is absolutely essential now. We love the vision statement that the College of Business has crafted. We think it's appropriate and highly relevant. And so we're very much in favor of that. We've been told to keep our remarks to 3 minutes. So I'm going to leave you with a little story that I think is apropos to these times. I had a professor in the early 70s of finance, and he loved Milton Friedman. And Milton Friedman, as you know, was a Nobel-winning economist and was very, very popular in the 70s and the 80s in his way of thinking. I'm not sure what my professor would think now, but he was really popular, and there was a story that I really liked about Milton. He married an economist, Rose. She had studied at University of Chicago, hadn't completed her degree, her PhD. She didn't write the thesis. She did all the other work and didn't finish, but she was very, very bright. Milton Friedman was giving a speech that day on international finance. And he was sitting at the coffee table, a little smug, reading the paper, drinking a cup of coffee, and said to Rose, how many experts do you think there are in the world on international finance? And she looked at him and she said, 1 less than you think. And I think that is always true. For all of us here, it's an opportunity that we have to continue to learn. We must continue to learn. There's no real alternative if we're going to give back to society and make it a better place. So we all have to continue to learn. We're never truly at the top of the game. We continue to be successful if we continue to learn. And that's what we're very proud of the university. So thank you very much. I appreciate this word immensely.
Our next honor alumna is Carla Dorr. It's from the College of Health and Human Sciences. Carla is the owner and president of Workspace Resources, one of Denver's largest office furniture dealers. She is an integral member of the Executive Leadership Council in the College of Health and Human Sciences, and as an affiliate faculty member at the Nancy Richardson Design Center. As a fourth-generation Coloradoan and proud mother of 2 children, Carla is active in the community she serves, on volunteer boards for several nonprofit organizations, and she's a passionate Ram who gives back to the university through her time, support of students, leadership advocacy, and generosity. Please join me in welcoming Carla Dorr to the stage, congratulating her as this year's College of Health and Human Sciences Honor Alumna Award recipient.
Thank you so much. So everybody who knows me knows I get really nervous in these situations, and trying to channel my best Dr. Frank, because he's so good at these things. And all those before me didn't bring up notes, and they do it. I'm so in awe of all of you. But I was trying to think of the best way to do this to take the nerves away, and thought Bob and I were talking, we could do it with a poem, or I could pretend I was talking to a room full of buffs, and then I wouldn't care so much. So no disrespect coming. But honestly, all I want to say is thank you. I am so grateful to be recognized and to have the chance to share my love and appreciation for CSU. Never, as a 22-year-old graduate, could I have imagined the opportunities that both would be imagined, prepared, provided. Just thinking back to when I was that age, never in a million years did I think I would be standing up here saying thank you for such an amazing award. At every phase of my professional career, from a young designer to an aspiring business person to the fortunate leader of a woman-owned organization, the amazing people at CSU have been so pivotal and so amazing and so instrumental in what I've been able to do. Without them, this would not have been possible. I'm so appreciative, and I'm especially proud of the College of Health and Human Sciences. Laura Mallon and I were talking before. The quality of the education and the programs is just so amazing, and the way the students are prepared as they come out these days just gives me confidence for our future, and I'm so proud. I get to work alongside of a lot of CSU graduates every day, and I am truly in awe of how they behave as humans and how they bring life to what we do every day. I wish I could thank everyone from CSU personally who's had such influence in my life, my business, and so many of my great friendships, and so many of you are here. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. I am humbled, but even more than that, I am so proud to be forever a Ram. Thanks.
Our next recipient is Karen Barker, honor alumna for the College of Liberal Arts. Karen is a third-generation Coloradan. After graduation from CSU, she earned a Master of Arts in Public Broadcasting from Michigan State University and embarked on a career in broadcast journalism. Even after retirement, Karen continued to use her journalism skills, remaining active producing videos for global philanthropies. During her visits to Guatemala since 2005, she has witnessed the life-changing difference education has had on Indigenous Mayan girls and women. This experience inspired her to establish the Karen and Scott Barker Diversity Scholarship Fund for promising Latina students attending CSU. Barker serves as a mentor to all of her scholarship recipients, providing resources and career consulting. It is her hope these students will become future leaders in our communities. Congratulations to Karen Barker as a 2021 Honor Alumna for the College of Liberal Arts.
Good evening. It is with gratitude to the College of Liberal Arts that I am receiving this most impressive award. I do want to thank my family for coming, which includes my husband, Scott, whose generosity with student scholarships here at CSU and with his own alma mater in Colorado College has been monumental. And a huge thank you to my son, Christopher, who graduated also from CSU. This award is a tribute, really not so much to me, but to the quality of student that CSU produces. Also graduating from CSU were my three brothers. Two, unfortunately, have passed away, but my dear brother Kent is with us tonight. He graduated 5 years behind me, and coincidentally, both of us served as ASCSU vice presidents. 50 years ago, this fall, in 1967, I was 17. As a college freshman, I was very fresh. By that I mean I was naive, I was unworldly, I haven't traveled, except for the ski slopes, and Vail was just a couple of years old. But I was confident, curious, and motivated to prove to myself that I could be the success that whatever I chose to do. The total student enrollment back in 1967 was 11,500. Today, it has more than tripled to over 32,000. CSU is in the process of setting new targets. The number of non-white students back then, well, that number is in a 3-ring binder somewhere in the archives. It hasn't been digitized. It's an indication where the priority was not in those days. What is important is what we know today and going forward. Enrollment of non-white students is 25%, and there is dedication to aggressively expand opportunities for this diverse and talented population. I begin with this introduction of contrasting the past and the present because I believe that in many ways, CSU has paralleled my own journey through life. It is blasted into the future, preparing new strategic plans and goals, dealing with the changing demographics that I've just mentioned. Just a couple of examples of the changes that I've seen since 1971. One, through the Barker Scholarships, I have watched CSU expand its mission in providing access, mentoring, and job opportunities to a growing number of socially and culturally diverse students. More on that in just a minute. The first travel abroad program has been established with the CSU Center in Todos Santos, Mexico. I visit it every year, and I suggest you do the same. 3, CSU has evolved from being primarily a research and academic institution to broadening its mission to preparing its students to make a difference in this world. And a number of you have mentioned that. That is where CSU graduates like me come in. While I had nothing to do with CSU's accomplishments in designing these remarkable goals, this university, in the 4 years that I attended, transformed me into a woman well prepared to expand my own mission and accomplish more than I dreamed possible. I give much credit to a remarkable professor, Dr. Robert McLaughlin, my mentor and still close friend, who believed in me and introduced me to the vice president of ABC Network News in New York, where I was hired as a researcher. Well, since then, my work and travels have taken me all over the world and to many third world countries. As CSU has increased its resources to strengthen and to stretch beyond its campus walls, I too have come to realize the power of reaching beyond my own comfort zone. I and my husband have been very involved in helping the very poorest of poor women in Guatemala. I have witnessed the positive changes in their lives through our microcredit loans for their businesses. And Scott and I have also helped to create access for talented young Mayan women, for girls to receive a top-notch education. It is our hope that these new leaders will become the next generation of policymakers in Guatemala. Well, it's the inspiration of those results that has made me turn to CSU to design, to create the Karen and Scott Diversity Scholarship Fund, which identifies highly motivated and driven young Latinas needing an extra boost. I expect them to be our game changers. I have had the privilege to mentoring these students. Daniela Medrano Sullivan, who is with us tonight in the balcony, just graduated from Creighton University, and she is ready to set the world on fire. Today, just a number of hours ago, she learned she passed the bar. And she did it with flying colors, very possibly in the 1% top in the United States for those taking the bar. Tonight, I thank CSU for expanding my horizons as it has also expanded its own. CSU's future and our future depends on the dedication to recruit, to educate, and to place into the workforce a diverse group of talented and capable visionaries. In my view, CSU is doing just that, and I am so proud to receive this award in honor of what my alma mater stands for. It is my hope that one of our Barker Scholarship recipients will be standing here someday, ready to receive this same impressive reward. Thank you.
Welcome to our next Honor Alumni Award recipient from the College of Natural Sciences, Tom Heidenfelder. Tom is a first-generation student who grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. While at CSU, he joined the Air Force ROTC program with a scholarship. After graduation, Tom spent 4 years in the Air Force as a computer systems officer. He then returned to Chicago to begin a career in information technology. As loyal donors to the College of Natural Sciences, Tom and his wife, Randy, have established the Thomas J. Heidenfelder Scholarship and the College of Natural Sciences Aspen Scholarship. The couple visits campus annually to connect with their scholarship recipients. Please help me in congratulating our College of Natural Sciences honor alumnus, Tom Heidenfelder.
Thank you all, and good evening. And thank you so much to the Alumni Association and the College of Natural Sciences. I honestly am flabbergasted and very honored to be here. The talent that is in the room tonight is just amazing. And thank you all, and congratulations to all the award recipients this evening. For me, as with many of you, Colorado State holds a special place in my heart, and that's a phrase I've used quite often over the last 50 years, roughly 50 years. And it came to me that I should use that phrase because so many of us in this room feel that same thing. But it's not just the specialty of the place, it's the people in this university that do the work day to day, and all of the teachers, all of the administration, and the people that turn out such a beautiful product. It's always such a wonderful thing to meet the students here. So thank you to everyone involved, and of course to my favorite dean, Jan. Thank you all for this kindness. I really appreciate it.
Next, we will recognize our honor alumna from the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Diane Brown. Dr. Brown is a board-certified veterinary clinical pathologist. She joined the AKC Canine Health Foundation in 2015 as its CEO and Chief Science Officer. Under her guidance, the foundation reached new heights in fundraising and number of grants awarded for canine health and One Health research. In April 2020, Diane returned to her roots in clinical pathology with LabCorp in New York City. She previously served as CSO for Morris Animal Foundation and has held several faculty appointments in the veterinary schools across the nation, including CSU. She also worked in small animal veterinary practice as a volunteer veterinarian for service dogs and more. Tonight, we proudly welcome Dr. Diane Brown to the stage as the 2021 College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences Honor Alumna.
I am truly honored and humbled to accept this award. The education I received at Colorado State University through the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences perfectly merged science, medicine, and animals in a world-class education, which has allowed me to contribute to veterinary medicine through investigation and service, and has taken me on a diverse and meaningful lifelong journey. My parents and Colorado State University faculty and mentors encouraged my curiosity to explore and provided me the tools to do so. Receiving this award gives me a moment to remember and pay tribute to several important people. First, two CSU alums themselves and gone too soon. My dad, Dr. Wayne Willis, who was an Aggie, and my oldest brother, Dr. Dave Willis, both distinguished in their respective fields of agronomy and wildlife and fisheries biology. And they shared their enthusiasm with me for lifelong learning. Next, I would like to acknowledge my PhD major advisor and mentor, Dr. Mariana Thrall, who's here tonight. She is a pillar of our profession, and she showed me that anything was possible. Also, my colleagues, some here tonight, we do our best in collaboration. And my youngest brother, Dan, and my brother-in-law, Max, also CSU alums. Thank you. And always to my fellow traveler on this journey, my son Kyle. Lastly, to the animals, small and large, who enrich our lives and our understanding. Thank you for this honor of a lifetime.
Next, we would like to welcome our Honor Alumnus Award recipient from the Walter Scott Jr. College of Engineering, Todd Filsinger. Todd is the Senior Managing Director at Filsinger Energy Partners in Denver, Colorado, as well as a registered professional engineer. Todd has worked in the United States power markets for more than 30 years and is recognized globally as the executive leader, disaster mitigation specialist, and turnaround specialist in the energy sector. Todd was instrumental in the efforts in Puerto Rico to restore power and restructure the island's power company after Hurricanes Maria and Irma. Most recently, he has been working with the state's governor's office on assisting utility wildfire mitigation plans, as well as helping define policy and regulatory issues facing the state's utilities. Congratulations, Todd Filsinger, on being named the 2021 Walter Scott Jr. College of Engineering Honor Alumnus.
Good evening and thank you. So I brought a supercomputer with me, and it's interesting because when I graduated, CSU had just bought these huge supercomputers, and then I realized that this has more power than those computers did. So I decided to bring it up here with me instead of notes. So first let me just say that I'm very humbled, as I know many of you are, for getting this award. As I went through college, I was a first-generation student, and I'm a big supporter of the first generation for the engineering department because I think it's critical for those first-generation students to get the support. As I went through college, I had a lot of struggles to get through and never envisioned where I would be today. But my education at CSU really set me up for the future. As I look at my opportunities, I look back on what I've accomplished, being on President Obama's energy transition team, starting my own firm in 2010, Filsinger Energy Partners. As she said in the introduction, we were asked to go to Puerto Rico and help the island recover from Hurricanes Irma and Maria. My family moved there with me, and we stayed there for 2 years trying to brought power back to the people, some people without power for almost a year. From there, we went and started working on the other climate issues in California. We're helping Governor Newsom with the wildfire issues that the utilities are suffering because of power lines and stuff causing wildfires. Again, a lot of very interesting things that when I sat in my engineering classes desperately trying to get through thermodynamics, would have never envisioned the things that it would turn me to. My goal in life was to make a difference in the world. My CSU engineering degree gave me that foundation to accomplish that goal. I think the CSU First Generation program, which helps those first generation students get through it, the process is critical, and I would encourage you all to participate in that. I want to close with this. My success is due solely to my CSU education, the work ethic my dad gave me, and the partnership with my wife, Lindsay. Thank you.
Our next college alumnus honoree is Chris Lidstone from the Warner College of Natural Resources. Chris is the founder of the engineering, geology, and water resource consulting firm Lidstone & Associates, Inc., now part of Stantec, an engineering services company. He has more than 40 years of professional experience across a wide range of specialized yet interrelated fields. Chris has conducted comprehensive geomorphic and engineering studies leading to the stabilization and restoration of rivers, including the Rogue River in Oregon, the Provo River in Utah, and the Yampa River here in Colorado. In 2014, Chris and his wife, Kate, established the Chris Lidstone and Kate Loudon Scholarship in Geosciences. In 2019, they created the Chris Lidstone and Kate Loudon Graduate Fellowship in Geosciences. We are proud to name Chris Lidstone as the 2021 Warner College of Natural Resources Honor Alumnus.
Thank you, Christy, and I'd like to thank the university for this great honor. I am humbled with the people I'm standing with today. There have been some amazing individuals ahead of me, and when you start talking about standing on the backs of giants, even though they're fullbacks, they're pretty impressive. So I truly feel that's made quite a difference in my career. I also really want to thank my wife, Kate, who's here with me today, and my son, Andy, who for the last 32, 33 years have stood by me, have humbled me. When things are super successful, they bring you back down to earth. And for me, is that support, and that earthliness is all great things to deal with. When I arrived at CSU in 1978, I really hadn't planned to be here for very long. 2 years, get my master's degree, and out. 43 years later, or 33 years later, I'm still here, and it amazes me when I look at the university, the way it's grown, the way it's changed. Certainly in size it's changed, but in the quality it's changed. The Department of Geosciences, of which I feel like I'm part of, under Rick Astor's leadership, has been amazing. I mean, we have grown from a small department to a world-class department. The Warner College, and under the direction of John Hayes, who's been an amazing dean, we'll be missing him, has really brought this university far ahead. When I first came here, I was looking at different grad schools back east and locally in the Rocky Mountains. And I interviewed a man named Stan Shum, who became my advisor. And Dr. Shum in March of 1978 told me, Chris, I'll open the doors for you, but if you walk through that door and make something of yourself, that's up to you. And that mantra, that leadership has made all the difference in the world for me. And as I've built my own companies, I've always used that as something that was important to me. I came here in '78. I coached the women's soccer club, and we actually brought them to the national championship tournament in 1980. And I always had this dream that they'd become a varsity program. Well, it took about 30 years after my dream, but they finally did become a varsity program. So truly, when I look back at what this university has done for me, and I, am still involved with the university. Rick has asked me to teach the class here and there. I've lectured in classes. But the fact that this university is producing the students and the quality of students, so many of whom I've actually hired in part of my consulting career, it's not only impressive to me, but it's impressive to the rest of the United States. And I see that as really the legacy that we are all, living forward with. And I think you've heard it from several speakers today, but part of our job as scientists and as people who are luckier than others has been to mentor others. And I could never pay back the individuals who taught me, who mentored me. Most of them passed away, including Dr. Shum. I still get involved with some of the fine professors like Frank Etheridge, Tom Thompson, Daryl Simons. They were all leaders to me. But to the extent that I can mentor and work with other people, it is this issue of paying it forward, this issue of trying to pay back those who helped us. And when Kate and I established our scholarship, I looked at that as an opportunity to bring people who were similar to us, who truly were hard workers, but they really needed help with their college education. And so that really brought forth the initial undergraduate scholarship. And then when you really look at the fact that, There's some amazingly qualified grad students, but a university education today is so expensive that if there's a way you can help, and the grad students and the undergraduates who I've had the pleasure to interact with and meet with, it's just been a pleasure for me more so than anything else. So again, I'd like to thank the university for this honor, and I really appreciate every aspect of CSU. And I'm glad to be able to stay involved with this university because it's been more to me than anything else. So I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
The Distinguished Graduate of the Last Decade, or Gold Award, is given to an alum who has made great strides and great impact in the last 10 years since graduation. This year's Gold Award recipient is Angelina Howard. Angelina is a first-generation student and is now a senior product manager at Amazon Web Services, the world's largest cloud provider. She is passionate about learning and building inclusive products and about increasing the knowledge and representation of people of color in product management. Outside of her product manager role, Angelina is the former president and current advisor for the Black Employee Network, one of 13 affinity groups at Amazon. She has played a vital and multifaceted roles in partnering with Amazon senior leadership as the company navigates racial issues facing the United States. From hosting an Amazon town hall with current and former Amazon CEOs to launching Black Employee Network scholarship and mentoring programs, her numerous contributions and invitations are accelerating the success of future Black leaders at Amazon. Angelina was named Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree for 2021, as well as a Black Enterprise 40 Under 40 honoree. In addition to her work at Amazon, she's a blogger, freelance instructor, adjunct professor at the University of Arkansas, speaker, entrepreneur, and corporate diversity consultant. All of this before the age of 30, a birthday she's actually celebrating next week. Can you all put your hands together? Tell me, wish Angelina a very happy birthday. We hope you enjoyed a few bites of cake at the reception in her honor.
The Graduate of the Last Decade Award recognizes a recent graduate for accomplishments made in the area of career, service, or volunteer efforts that have brought honor to the individual and to Colorado State University. First bestowed by the Alumni Association in 1994, the Graduate of the Last Decade Award, or Gold Award, honors an alum who has made the most of the past 10 years in their chosen field or in service to others. Recipients are driven difference makers who make an immediate and lasting impact. Tonight, we present the Graduate of the Last Decade Award to Angelina Howard for her leadership and achievements in social justice and racial equity in the corporate world and beyond.
I do think Angelina is just a rather unique, human being.
Angelina is just like an authentic person and just genuinely kind. One of the kindest people I've ever met, honestly.
She works hard. She works really hard. 5 years ago, before it was really a hot thing, she called me and said, "Hey, I want to dive into product management." She ended up in that role, and now it's one of the hottest jobs in supply chain right now.
She's a product manager at Amazon, and so what she cares a lot about is making sure that the specs or how they're building the products are thinking about and considering everybody.
Angelina has friends in every demographic, and that allows her to get a sense of what people need, and it makes doing her work a lot easier.
Angelina really is a role model of that idea that I think about of thoughtful courage. She understands critical issues. She has a wonderful thought process about her. She definitely is trying to move things forward in a way that will be productive and successful. She leads from the front, but she also leads from the side.
She's putting herself before others without a second thought. And I think that's what really drives her getting involved in this work and being in a leadership space. I don't know if she would say that's like her most natural state, but she puts herself out there in order to make sure everything is equitable and inclusive for others.
Yeah, definitely not her natural state at all. She's extremely introverted, but the work that she chooses to do forces her to be extroverted, which takes a lot of like personal sacrifice and effort to be doing that. But she has to, and she's okay to carry that weight.
I'm fueled with less of an idea, more of an emotion, of just feeling a great sense of gratitude to be able to, tell the Angelina story.
To be recognized for her accomplishments is going to mean a lot to her.
Please join me in congratulating Angelina Howard as the 2021 Graduate of the Last Decade Distinguished Alumna.
Wow. I told myself that I was gonna not cry, and then the video and everything, so I'm probably gonna cry. It's so interesting to be here because I remember being a student and I was a part of Student Alumni Associates, and I remember volunteering here and saying to myself that I hope that one day I would be able to do something that made the university proud and that I would one day be honored here. And so it is definitely a full circle moment for me. I'm a first generation student, and so when I first came to CSU, I didn't know what I wanted to do. People in the College of Business can tell you that I think I changed my concentration 4 or 5 times. I came in as a CIS student. I took my first CIS class and said, nope, that's not for me. And everyone's like, you should have stuck with it. And now that I know what I know about the engineers, I definitely probably should have stuck with it. But I did CIS. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna do marketing. And marketing at that time was very much more around sales. And I was like, I don't think that's my personality. I knew I didn't like accounting. That was clear from the bat. And then I did finance, and I said, okay, I think I like finance. I met with Sue Shell, who was the director for the Career Management Center, and I said, I'm gonna do investment finance, and she said, you're just really nice. I don't know if that's for you either. And she's like, but if you wanna do it, I will support you, but you are really, really nice. And she shared a personal story when she was in Wall Street, and I said, you know what, I don't wanna do that either. And so I met Dr. Fugit, who's in the video, and I actually was working in the CMC, and I looked at a job description and I said, oh, supply chain sounds cool, and I didn't know what supply chain was. And so I actually changed my schedule, I think a week before classes started, and I will say that was probably the best decision that I've ever made. And I had Dr. Fugit's class, and he is now my mentor. He is the reason why I am now an adjunct professor at the University of Arkansas. And at the end of that semester, I went to Dr. Fugit and said, can I be your student assistant? And he did not have a position available for that, and he made a way. And I remember using that last semester of college, and I really dove deep into the College of Business, into the Career Management Center. When I tell you I feel like I lived there, I probably should have paid rent there. I was there from 8 a.m. I worked in the College of Business Career Management Center. I was student associate within the Supply Chain Management Department. I was a part of the College of Business Mentoring Program. I was a part of BDLA. In addition to that, I was a Student Alumni Associate. I was a part of the Black Student Alliance. And how I had time to still pass college, I don't know, but here we are. And I remember going to Paul Vandersbeck, and I was being really nervous, and I promise there's a reason why I'm sharing this story. I went to him and said, we do all of these case competitions, and I wish that I could do something like that, but I don't think that I'm good enough for that. And he was like, he calls me Laveda, which is my middle name. He's like, Laveda, hush, just apply and interview, and then I got it. And then I participated in two case competitions, and we won first place at the PATAC prize, and then we tied for second place at the General Motors one. And I remember just, kind of churning through and going through things, and I always second-guessed myself. And what I will say that the College of Business and CSU always did was pour life into me when I didn't believe in myself. And so this past year, I did not realize that I could do the things that I did. So coming in as a first-generation student, being recognized by Forbes and being recognized by the university, it means a lot because it was a reminder to me that my entire life, people saw things in me that I never saw in myself. I have my aunt and uncle here, and Uncle Gerald and Auntie Repara, and I remember studying, and my mom would always say, you need to go to school and get good grades and go to college. And I said, okay. And I was gonna study history, and my aunt said, sure. What do you wanna do with that? And I said, I don't know. I just like watching the History Channel, and I know that I can go to class and be entertained and feel like it's gonna be great. And so she's like, okay, well, what else do you like? And I'm like, I like math. And my uncle, he was a CIS major, and I'm like, he stays at home, he seems to make good money, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And so the reason I share these things is that Dr. Fugit did not have a way, he did not have an opening for a student, but he said, I see something in you, I'm gonna bring you in and mentor you. My aunt and uncle, I did not, I was a first-generation student, they saw something in me. They are not my blood aunt and uncle, but they took me in as their family, and I would go to their house and say, hey, I need help with applying for school, even in college, even in my life today, I still go to them. And I'm so thankful for them because, again, I would not be here if people did not see things in me that I did not see in myself. And then to my best friend back there, Makita, I didn't even know she did this video. And I remembered even just last month when I was thinking about applying for that role in AWS, I was like, I don't know if I can do that, it's really challenging. And she was like, you like challenges, and that's what you can do. And so this award reminds me that it's important to have people around you who truly care about you and who want to pour life into you. And I thank you all so much for believing in me because I never believed in myself the way that I should have. And I want to thank my mom. My mom, if you know me, my mom is everything to me. And she's here right now, and I can't look at her because then I'm really going to start crying. But my mom sacrificed a lot, but she was always there. And to Joey, who is my stepdad, who will never tell you that I'm his stepdaughter. He will say that is my daughter. I just thank you all so much. I thank you, everyone here, so much for having this award. And I still sit here today like I did as a student and just looking at everyone and saying, wow, you all are amazing. So thank you for everything that you've done for people like me as a student. And there's so many people here who are going to be just taking it in, because I know I took it in as a student, and I just want to say, for the people that you see around you, pour into them. These moments matter, and I just want to say thank you so much for believing in me, and I just hope that other people see me and see what's possible. So thank you so much. It's an honor, and this is the second big speech I was able to do at CSU, so I think commencement is next. Just going to throw that out there. I'm available, so thank you so much.
Congratulations, Angelina. Born and raised in Lusk, Wyoming, Bob Cates loved playing basketball and played for CSU, at the time Colorado A&M. In the mid-1950s, when Linda Brooks arrived at CSU in the fall of '67, she was captivated by the Department of Communication Studies, formerly the Speech Department, and never considered another major. The couple married and taught at schools all across Colorado. Bob eventually became the Assistant Commissioner of the College High School Activities Association, a role where he also ran the Student Council State Conference here at CSU each summer. When the couple fully retired in 1996, they moved back to Fort Collins to support CSU athletics and academics. Their mutual careers in education nurtured in them a deep passion for their alma mater, students, and all those who help advance CSU's mission. They have established several scholarships at CSU, and their Ram pride shines bright at Canvas Stadium as well, where you'll find their names printed on the founding plaque outside for their generous philanthropic commitment and dedication to the green and gold. The Cates believe that paying it forward is essential. Their support of CSU is one of the most meaningful contributions to society and the leaders of tomorrow they have made.
The Jim and Nadine Henry Award has been presented annually since 1988 to alumni who exemplify extraordinary service to CSU and its academic, athletic, and alumni programs. Named Alumni of the Century in 2000 by the Alumni Association, Jim and Nadine will always be synonymous with Ram pride. Passionate about education, this stalwart couple funded scholarships in several colleges. Hundreds of students have benefited from their generosity. They were ardent supporters of CSU athletics and filled their home with Ram memorabilia collected over 8 decades. Jim was inducted into the CSU Sports Hall of Fame for his many years of support and dedication to CSU's student athletes. Tonight, we present the Jim and Nadine Henry Award to Linda and Bob Cates for their passionate and long-term commitment to CSU students, faculty, and staff.
They cheer the Rams on. Bob, quietly, and Linda, not so.
They were just good ambassadors for CSU, no matter kind of where they were.
I think they're very passionate about sports, and they're very passionate about academics.
They are both very intelligent, giving people. Both of them were teachers. Bob was a coach for a lot of years, but also taught. Linda taught her entire career. And so they've touched so many people in positive ways.
Bob was the type of person that we were brothers almost immediately. Always had pride representing CSU. And I guess Bob and I have always felt that way. The quality I always respected a lot is loyalty. Bob and Linda were always very loyal.
And so being able to create scholarships that help students from an academic perspective, and then also helping student athletes to get the most out of their experience at CSU is something that really means the world to both of them.
Whether it is tailgates before a football game, whether it is being in the stands for every single football and men's basketball game, whether it is being on committees.
They get so much joy out of doing so. So I think for them, it's a mutually beneficial thing. They feel good about giving back, but they get a lot of joy out of it as well.
CSU means an awful lot to them. And it's an honor for me to be able to tell about them because they are such close friends.
Former students, former basketball players keep in touch with them and use words like family quite freely. I hope it is for them kind of everything tied up with the bow of how much CSU and CSU alumni love them.
Please welcome to the stage Linda and Bob Cates as we celebrate them as this year's Jim and Nadine Henry Award recipients.
Did you get it changed already? Oh, such a happy night for us. We feel so blessed to be a part of the CSU community. the students, the professors, all of the people that work here to make things so special for us. In 1954, my husband, Bob Cates, came to CSU to play basketball and baseball. And those players, like Hal Kennard, that he played with, are still friends today, the ones that are left around. And I need to tell you that just past summer, they met for lunch 66 years later to talk about the old times and to relive their glory days. And if you remember, and most of you probably don't unless you've been to Moby and seen the banner up there about the 1954 basketball team, they went all the way to New York City to compete when there were only 7 other schools that were competing there. So they did have a wonderful opportunity. They had a wonderful time here. And I know that Bob is so grateful for what CSU did for him. As he said to me, they gave me an education. Now I want to give somebody else an education. And so we started with our first scholarship in the athletic department and gave it to a basketball player because Bob played basketball. And then I said, well, we don't give to athletics unless we give to academics. And so we went over to the speech department, which I was a part of. And I have to tell you what I love about CSU and my relationship with CSU is that there were 3 professors that lit a spark in me that has just grown exponentially as I have been a teacher and as I've learned. And these 3 men, and there are only probably 2 other people in this room, maybe 3, because my daughter's here, and she met them all. She used to sometimes go to class with me because I couldn't find a babysitter. They were Jack Gravely, Jim Irvin, and Dr. Robert McLaughlin. Karen referenced, Dr. Mack, as we called him. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. They saw something in me that I had no idea that I could do. But they made me want to learn and to be better. And they taught me that it's not the easy way that you do things, but the right way that you do things. And I was working on my master's degree, and I think everybody in the room will know who I wrote it about when I tell you, Spiro Agnew. Vice President Spiro Agnew, before he pled nolo contendere. And I was writing about his debate with the media. And I had gotten my degree in rhetoric for my bachelor's, but in radio and TV for my master's. And so I thought, oh, this will be great. I'll just write about all the historical stuff that went on, and then I'll be done. And they said, oh, no, that's the easy way out. The hard way is for you to take your rhetorical background and study the issues and study the logic and study the support that Spiro Agnew used. And that meant a lot to me because I learned that it's not the easiest way. Sometimes it's the hardest way that means the most. Another thing that Bob and I have always liked about CSU is their land grant mission. And I know Tony Frank made me realize that every time I got to hear him speak, and it made me so proud because part of the land grant mission is giving an opportunity for people from all walks of life to have the chance to get a university education. And I see it over and over again when I serve on the Liberal Arts Development Council. We'd come to our meetings and we'd hear about the wonderful things CSU was doing for the community and wonderful things they were doing for students. And I remember when I first heard about Toto Santos down in Mexico. And Bob and I were lucky enough to go down and visit that campus before the pandemic, the last time we took a cruise. And it was incredible. And they were so proud of what they were doing in Mexico, what they were doing for the students from CSU that went down there. And I have to say, for many of them, for many of the students, it truly was their program abroad. They maybe couldn't afford to go to Paris or to Italy or someplace else, but they went to Toto Santos and they had to experience off campus in another country. We thought that was absolutely wonderful. And for those of you that don't know where that is, if you go to Cabo San Lucas, you're only an hour away. So if you go on a cruise and you don't have anything to do that day, take a trip over to Todos Santos. Another thing that I got so excited about was when we tried to raise money to give the CSU band, one of our best ambassadors, when we tried to get the money to send them to Ireland for the St. Patrick's Day parade. And they played over there in the St. Patrick's Day parade, and then they toured Ireland. And they did many, many things that worked as ambassadorships for CSU, but one of the ones that meant the most to me, and it was videotaped and put on all kinds of social media, singing the alma mater, the CSU alma mater on the cliffs of Moher. And it's those experiences, sending kids to Todos Santos, sending kids to Ireland, allowing them to travel, that is part of the relationship building that CSU does on a regular basis. So Bob and I have been more than happy to dedicate the money that we can and the time that we have to pay it back to CSU for finding a home for a basketball student, for taking a non-traditional student like me and making me believe that I could do great things. And so it is with that that we realize that no matter what we give to CSU, it has given us even more.
Hospitals are a great example of public service, and the name Unger has been synonymous with them in northern Colorado. Kevin Unger is a Fort Collins native who was born at Poudre Valley Hospital. He earned 2 of 4 degrees from CSU and has been with PVH and UC Health since 2001. In 2009, Kevin was the national winner of the Robert S. Hudgens Memorial Award for Young Healthcare Executive of the Year from the American College of Healthcare Executives, given to administrators under 40. He currently serves as the CEO of Poudre Valley Hospital and Medical Center of the Rockies. Stacy moved from her hometown in Gibbon, Nebraska in Fort Collins to finish her degree at Colorado State, and also holds a Master's of Science in Psychology from the University of Nebraska. The Ungers met at CSU and were married in 1993. Stacy is dedicated to improving her community and serves on boards of several organizations that assist those in need. The Ungers live by the maxim that your career is about what you give back. Kevin serves on the Executive Leadership Council for CSU's College of Health and Human Sciences, and the couple have been generous supporters of the university. In 2018, they established the Kevin and Stacy Unger Family Scholarship, which provides financial assistance to College of Health and Human Sciences students who have been impacted by financial hardships that could prevent them from continuing their educations.
Named for Colorado State University's 5th president, the Charles A. Laurie Public Service Award honors alumni who have demonstrated exceptional and sustained leadership in their community, professional field, and have given a significant contribution of time and talent to the university. Charles Laurie's tenure, which began in 1909 and lasted until 1940, was so distinctive, selfless, and indelible that for many, he was the college. Those who have received the award named in his honor have carried on that legacy. Tonight, we present the Charles A. Laurie Public Service Award to Stacy and Kevin Unger for their extraordinary service to Northern Colorado and Colorado State University and its students.
Kevin and Stacy, they're very community-oriented, very civic-minded. I think they know every person in the community, and I just know that relationship and giving back to the community are two of the biggest things I think of when I think of Kevin and Stacy.
They really care about people, and one thing that I noticed about Kevin is that every time you're around him, he makes you feel good.
They are salt of the earth, loving, kind, generous, brilliant people. And there are just not enough of them in the world.
Stacy, she's one of those volunteers. She just always knows what we need. And the partnership between Poudre School District and CSU is amazing, and there's a lot of opportunity there. And she just would always just have that knowledge to be able to offer with this work.
I mean, you can be in a position of leadership, but then you have to be the person to do it. And both Kevin and Stacy do that, being born here, and then here he is years later, the CEO. That comes about through hard work, treating people right. What he's done at the hospital, it just permeates throughout the community, and especially at Colorado State University.
It has been a once-in-a-career kind of a year for healthcare administrators. And many organizations and many leaders have used this as a way to discontinue services to the most vulnerable of our population. Kevin would never do that. Kevin is in this to make patients better. He's in this to improve the healthcare of the community.
When I heard that they were getting this honor, and Stacy specifically, because she is so quiet and behind the scenes and just gets it done, you know, you thank her in the moment and doing things, and I think this is an incredible way to honor her.
Nobody who is in an area over which Kevin Unger presides need worry about his motivations or his integrity. I just will tell you, if you ever wonder, are they doing the right thing? If he's the boss, they are doing the right thing.
And he'll take that plaque, the Charles Laurie plaque, and he'll take it home, and then he'll just keep on working the next day to try to make us a better community.
Please join me to welcome Stacy and Kevin Unger to the stage as we celebrate them as this year's Charles A. Laurie Public Service Award recipients.
Well, I don't know what to say, really. We've just been so humbled by all of this. And so many of the best things in my life have come through Colorado State University. Stacy, a friend of ours, called and said, will you give Stacy Bond a tour of the campus? And what a beauty, man. I was like, you bet. And we toured over to the psychology department, and the professor, Dr. Vitano, decided to transfer in 90 plus credits from Kearney State University. And I've never heard of that before, but Dr. Vitano, thanks for doing it. I didn't know if Stacy transferred or not, because we didn't have Snapchat and Instagram and all that fun stuff. But we ran into each other right outside of the Laurie Student Center. And my friend Nick, who we were roommates here at CSU, of course, because I told you all good things come from Colorado State University. He knew I was whipped. He knew I was a goner, and Stacy and I have been soulmates ever since. And just as tonight, I wanted her to give this talk, and she wouldn't. She's always behind the scenes, and she's truly the glue that holds it all together. And there's nobody that knows more about healthcare in Northern Colorado than Stacy, whether she wants to or not. She's been just tremendous to myself, and we have three amazing kids. Sydney, who's got 2 degrees from Colorado State University, go Rams. Mason, who's an EMT at UC Health, And for future Ram, I predict Sophia, who is a Lobo over at Rocky Mountain. And we're just blessed with an incredible family who's here. Stacy's parents, Dwight and Sheila, they made the trip from Nebraska, and you have a wonderful daughter, and thank you for, so often behind every successful person is a surprised mother-in-law. And so anyway, we appreciate you too. My parents are here, Don and Karen, and my dad was superintendent of schools here in Fort Collins for a number of years and stressed the benefit of education, and of course my sister. And so this is why the heck am I getting an honor from Colorado State University when this lady bleeds green and gold? And I swear this is an inside job, so I appreciate your help on all of this. But as I say, all good things have happened from Colorado State University. When I was at CSU, Dr. Jack Briette, who's in the sociology department, he kind of pushed me to go on an experience called Semester at Sea. And Dr. Briette said, I think this would be really good for you. And so I did it, and it was more than just good for me. It was amazing. On that voyage, Dr. Jim Boyd, who is also a professor here at Colorado State University, he just expanded my mind. He taught religious studies, thank you. My wingman. And Jim he brought it to life. You were learning and you didn't know you were learning. You couldn't get enough of him. But also on that voyage was Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And Desmond Tutu was sitting by himself at lunch, and I decided to sit with him. And he started asking me a lot of questions, heady questions, big questions. And as a 20-year-old, I was mostly worried about when pub night was, as opposed to how you bring healing to South Africa and apartheid, and what the next step should be in this process. And he said, I would like you to have dinner with Leah and I tonight. And I was very fortunate to do that. I couldn't sleep that night. The ship should have been rocking me to sleep, but all I could do is think about the questions that he was asking me. And he wanted to have breakfast and lunch and dinner, and we became friends, believe it or not. And we kept in contact. He actually wrote me a letter of recommendation. And I'm like, that's not a good use of your time, but I appreciate it. And it was appreciated. But fast forward 24 years, and Dr. Jack Briette is talking to my daughter, Sydney, about Semester at Sea, which now CSU sponsors, and as I said, all good things come out of CSU. And we had the opportunity, Mason, Sophia, and Stacy and I, to meet Sydney in South Africa, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu was on board that cruise as well, making sure that he was giving back to students. And if Jack Briette had not urged me to go on Semester at Sea, that would have never happened. Which brings me to the next thing. CSU is unbelievable. Max Maxashura, who's here, he wandered into my office several years ago and he says, I need you to go to Japan with us. I'm not going to tell you what this is about. I'll explain it later. He never did. But anyway, I was like, okay, I'll go. 2 weeks later, get a ticket in my email to go to Tokyo. And CSU's global reach is unbelievable. So we met with the gentleman, Gen Kato. Gen is an unbelievable person who has developed vet schools and vet programs throughout the country of Japan. He connected us with Hokkaido University in Sapporo. Now we have exchange programs for the vet school as well as med students, as well as CSU is partnering with the country of Japan to do radiation studies after the tsunami in Fukushima. The global reach of this institution is unbelievable, and they're changing the world. And it is the biggest gem of an organization there is, and they're like the iPod of universities because they do everything. It's just awesome. Which leads us to UC Health. Oh, and Nancy Hartley's here. And Nancy was the chair of the Poudre Valley Health System Board, and she and her husband were on my doctoral committee, and I can't thank you enough for all you've done to support me personally, and tell Brian thank you so much. I should have graduated with my PhD in 2004, and Brian finally said, dude, you're going to embarrass us all if you don't finish this. And we got it done. And thank you, Nancy, for the support. And we have many of our board members from UC Health here. UC Health does not, the UC stands for, all right, Carla, I'm going to make you sick to your stomach, but it's University of Colorado Health, because it's a joint affiliation between Poudre Valley Health System and University Hospital down in Denver. And so I was not super thrilled with UC Health. I would have preferred some other things, and David Wood's here, and David was the architect of this. He was a CU grad, so he was he could digest it a little better than I could. But Rulin, who was in the video, and I were worried sick about calling Tony Frank. We were like, oh my goodness, this isn't going to go well. He's not going to like the fact that we have UC Health in Fort Collins. And Tony, complete opposite reaction. Tony said, we have needed a catalyst to bring CU and CSU together for years. You're going to be that vessel. And at that moment, I know Tony had a plan in his head. And Chancellor Frank wanted to have a branch campus of the medical school here at Colorado State University. He wanted to make that happen, and now we have 12 students that are a cohort that get their education at CSU. They do their rotations here in this community, and it was from Tony's vision that occurred. And then he said, we need a building. And at that time, we were talking about building a clinic in a parking structure somewhere, and Tony, you still need the parking structure. But the building on the College of Prospect and College was Tony's vision. And on the 4th floor, we house our medical students. We have a center of aging with our partners in Columbine Health System, and Yvonne Myers is here this evening. And it's been a wonderful relationship, which brings me to the pandemic. And so things started happening, and we've all been there, and I'm not going to rehash it, but we're watching TV, and you're seeing people taking care of people in hospitals wearing ski goggles and plastic bags, trash bags, and it was we were wondering if our people are going to be okay. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And the first call I get is from President McConnell saying, whatever we have is yours. And it chokes me up a little bit. And within 24 hours, we had an inventory list of everything that they had here at CSU. And she said, anything you need, we have it. They sent over ventilators. They sent over PPE. They sent over anything and everything we needed to our docs. Next call, Woodward. They call, we have PPE for you. Next call, Otterbox. They say, we got PPE for you, and we've got not only that, but we've got contacts in China that can help you and make sure that your supply chain is flowing. And then Columbine calls, and that's the kind of community we live in. Fort Collins is unbelievable and caring. Right now, healthcare workers could certainly use a pat on the back. They're beat down. It's 19 months, and it's still going on. We're seeing high volumes, highest we've seen the entire pandemic. And so if you know a healthcare provider, please give them a hug, give them a pat on their back, tell them thank you, and try to lift their spirits, because I think we have a little ways further to go. But Stacy and I are so humbled by this recognition. It's very difficult to receive an individual award for a team sport like healthcare, but Christy, thanks. We do appreciate it, and we have such wonderful family here, and so many of our friends and family have turned out for this, and this is just a super special night for us. So thank you very much, and go Rams.
Deborah Stencil and Patrick Phillips believe access to higher education is transformative. It was for them. They both grew up in Aurora, Colorado, and met while attending CSU. Deborah is a first-generation student who graduated from the College of Business. She went on to attend Syracuse University Law School in New York, and after graduating, became a partner in a Washington, D.C.-based law firm before she eventually became general counsel and senior vice president for B.F. Saul Company, a major Washington, D.C. real estate development and investment firm. Throughout his career, Patrick has been a passionate advocate for the creation of vibrant and sustainable cities. After graduating from the College of Agricultural Sciences, he completed graduate degrees in landscape architecture from the SUNY College of Environmental Sciences and Forestry, and in public management and finance from Syracuse University's Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs. Patrick later went on to become the global CEO of the Urban Land Institute and president of the Urban Land Institute Foundation. Since 1992, Deborah and Patrick have supported numerous funds and programs across campus, personifying the heart of the university's land-grant mission. In 2018, they established the Phillips Stencil First Generation Award and the Phillips Program in Urban Conservation.
Named for Colorado State University's 8th president, the William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award is the highest honor bestowed by the Alumni Association and is reserved for alumni who have excelled at the national or international level. President Morgan presided over Colorado A&M's transformation into a modern research university and fought tirelessly for the growth and welfare of this institution throughout the decades he served in the president's chair. Tonight, we present the William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award to Deborah Stencil and Patrick Phillips, whose career accomplishments, involvement, and generosity epitomize the values of service and excellence that underpin Colorado State University.
Concerned, giving, loving. They are people who want to make sure that this country is a better place for everyone.
Both of them are focused on community, and they have an understanding that community at the local level is sort of the basis for an entire society.
Just an amazing sense of the big picture as well as the small details.
I've always been a great supporter of land conservation, water conservation, things of that sort. And here Patrick is in the middle of all of that and promoting it, making sure we're doing some of the right things, preserving our way of life.
Leaders have different styles, but Deborah is just steady, constant. She listens. She's fair. She's fair with everyone. Amazing mentor in so many ways. Not only as an amazing lawyer, but also as a person. She just is the whole package. And so she's amazing, and I'm so thankful for her.
And Patrick's experiences in running the Urban Land Institute for a decade, I was particularly impressed about how he dealt with it on an international level. He has a beautiful style for, I would say, being instructive and informative and helpful, but you don't feel like you're being lectured at, and that makes it much more easy to receive the advice that he tenders.
Receiving, the Morgan Distinguished Alumni Award is perfect for them because they not only, represent what CSU is all about, but they've done so much you know, as it relates to what really needs to be done in this country, but also what I think about in terms of the state of Colorado.
I hope that they know how much they're appreciated, how much, you know, they're missed. And also, I think that Deborah, as a woman, absolutely is an example for all of the young girls, the young women out there, and they should absolutely follow that.
Please welcome Deborah Stencil and Patrick Phillips to the stage as we celebrate them as this year's William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award recipients.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jonathan, for the introduction. Thanks to the Alumni Association for nominating us for this award. We're humbled and honored and slightly overwhelmed. Thanks to the university administration. What a difficult job they've had over the last 20 months or so and have come through with flying colors. Thanks to all the distinguished guests here tonight. The great staff support. It's been so impressive working with the CSU team. And of course, to all of our fellow awardees this evening. Tough act to follow. You know, for us, college was not preordained.
I was the first to go, and although my parents did not go to college, they provided the emotional and the financial support that I needed. My father also became a master packer and could put all of my worldly possessions in my tiny little car as I went back and forth to Fort Collins. My sister followed a few years later and got her bachelor's and master's degree at CSU.
So my parents did attend college, but in high school I was no scholar. I was an athlete, and I was fortunate enough to be recruited to CSU as a scholarship athlete. Most of you may not know this, but in the 1970s, CSU was a national powerhouse in men's gymnastics. Now, I did very little to bolster that reputation over the 2 years that I was on the team, but it served as a springboard, literally, to a more serious approach to academics and ultimately to graduate school and my career. Now, after college, we did the unthinkable. Well, we got married, but we did the unthinkable. We left Colorado. I know. We thought it was going to be a couple of years. It turned into a few decades. We ultimately landed in Washington, D.C., but we were surprised and delighted to find that the CSU network was thriving there.
So we moved into our first apartment, and we met our downstairs neighbor, and were stunned to find out that not only was he a CSU alum, he had graduated a year after we did, but he had also owned Avogadro's Number, which is still here, and a legendary sandwich shop for those of you who have not participated. Several other classmates followed to Washington, and the CSU contingent grew.
And they're our closest friends today. They remain so. Our renewed connection to the university really was sparked about 10 years ago when Moira Sharkey from the advancement team approached me with the need for a venue for a reception for DC alums. I offered up our Georgetown offices, and it became a regular recurring event. Since then, we've been working and developed a very strong working relationship with the advancement team as well as the first generation team. Kyle Dunbar and Marilyn Butcher have become great friends, and we really value our relationship as well with Chancellor Tony Frank and President McConnell. They really give a personal dimension to the university that I think we've not seen in similar institutions.
The receptions were one thing, but we knew we wanted to do more. Access to higher education had been transformative in our lives, and as we considered how to best give back to the university, the First Generation Scholarship Program resonated most strongly. As it turns out, unbeknownst to us at the time, not only did CSU have the first and one of the most highly regarded first-gen programs in the country, but one of those most instrumental in its creation and its success was my cousin, John Stencil, who is here tonight with his wife, Marion, and we're delighted that they could join us this evening.
Our experience with the First Gen program has been immensely rewarding. For us, it reinforces the importance of the personal connection in philanthropy. The First Gen team has made sure that these recipients of our scholarship are not anonymous. We know who they are. We know their stories. We've followed their challenges and their triumphs throughout their CSU career. They are
Juan, Mary, Peyton, Karina,
Camilla, Angelica, Yaneli, and Baslal,
Jacqueline, Alanis, Christian, Ethan,
Noel, Cindy, Valeria, Anna, and Marcos.
It has been gratifying to play a small part in the success and the growth of these amazing young people. We actually get to spend a good amount of time with them tomorrow, and we're excited about that. We look forward to continuing our support of CSU for many years to come. So it is great to be back at CSU and back in Colorado. Thank you all again for this really terrific honor.
Thank you.
Wow, the inspiration in this room after those stories is profound. I cannot put into words how proud it makes me to be a current student and to see what Rams are doing in the world, in every industry, from every walk of life. I'm truly humbled. What an extraordinary honor it is to welcome you all home as our 2021 Colorado State University Distinguished Alumni and to be a part of this night. Christy, can you please join me in joining us to close out this amazing event?
Will you join me in one more round of applause for our amazing 2021 Distinguished Alumni? This really was a special night. And one more round of applause for Michaela and Jonathan. That is not an easy job. We look forward to both of you joining the alumni family in just May, right? With 2 graduations coming up here very soon. Without a doubt, these amazing Rams who were honored this evening are some of Colorado State University's most passionate, influential, and distinguished alumni. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this evening as much as I did, and I want to personally invite you to all of the rest of the homecoming and family weekend activities that are starting tomorrow and running through Saturday. On behalf of Colorado State University and the Alumni Association, thank you again for being here tonight. Have a great evening and go Rams.